Okay, so today you're going to be working on some different levels of difficulty on solving equations, just to make sure we are continuing to make sure we're good to go. So at this point, stop the video, try numbers 1 through 4, and then you can check in. You can check in with the video and check your answers, and then you'll be able to record your score here. So go ahead and pause the video, try 1 through 4, and then go ahead and check your work by continuing the video. Okay, so 1 through 4, real quick. These are all one-step equations. So these would be your basics, right? So making sure you can do the basics of subtracting to cancel out addition. Get m equals -16. Adding to cancel out subtraction or negatives. Right? So adding 15 to both sides, we get n equals +6. We have 10n equals 40, so that's multiplying is shown, so we need to divide by 10. N equals 4. And the last one, we are shown division, which means we need to multiply on both sides, and we get b equals -108, right? Or flip that around. And there we go. So see how you did. If you got them all right, that'd be 4 out of 4. However many you got right. Again, count them right or wrong. It's either right or wrong, just to give yourself a quick idea. Can you do these perfectly the first time? All right. So record your score and then move on to the next section, 5, 6, and 7, and go ahead and try those. And then again, pause the video, try them, and then check your work here. All right, so number 5, 6, and 7. Again, these are 2 steps. So combination of the previous types of equations, 2 steps. So again, adding 7. So we dealt with the adding first, or the subtraction by adding, and then we have to divide by 9, and anything, 0 divided by anything is still 0. So x equals 0 for number 5. Number 6, we're going to get rid of the add or subtracting first, right? So this is the variable term. We're going to start by adding 6 to both sides. Bring down your fraction. On the other side, we have 1. And then we have a fraction left, so we're going to go ahead and multiply. All right, we're multiplying by the denominator. Multiply by 4. So x equals 1 times 4 is 4. And then number 7, first parentheses. So we want to distribute that 2 to get 2n plus 10. And then at this point, we have 2 steps, right? So we are subtracting 10 on both sides, and then dividing by 2. At any point, if you need to pause the video to write down your work, fix your mistakes, get those corrected, please do so. Go back and do that if you need to. So again, mark how you did. If you got them all right, great. You got a 3, or however many you got right. Again, count them as 100% correct or it's wrong. All right, just to give yourself an idea of what are you struggling with. Okay. Again, go back in, change your work, fix your mistakes, but keep your original score here. How did you do originally the first time when you tried them? When you do that, go ahead and check. Again, go ahead and do number 8, 9, and 10. Same process. Go ahead and pause the video, try them out, and then check your work. Okay, 8, 9, and 10 are multi-step. So this is where we really use that whole checklist, right? So again, looking for parentheses. There are no parentheses for number 8. Looking for combining like terms on both sides. Either side has no like terms that we can combine together. So now we're looking to get the variables on the same side. So I want to subtract p to move them to the left. And that's going to leave me with 1p on the left-hand side and a 4 on the right. And then the constants get moved to the other. So subtract 11. And I get p equals -7. Okay. Number 9, parentheses. I do have parentheses, so I want to distribute first. Everything else just drops down. I get 6k plus 18, and then plus another 6k. That 6k just comes down. So parentheses, combine like terms. Right here is where we're combining like terms, right? So on the right-hand side, I have a 6k and a 6k. So I can combine those into 12k. Everything else just drops down for the ride. And now I can move on to getting the variables on the same side. So moving the variables to the left, I'm moving them across the equal sign, which means I need to do the opposite. So subtract 12 on both sides. That gives me negative 4k minus 6 equals 18. And at this point, we're back to 2 steps. We need to add the 6 to both sides, right? So I'm adding 6. And then divide by negative 4. Okay, and there it is, k equals negative 6. All right, number 10, go ahead and let's check this one out. Number 10, again, going through our steps here. Parentheses, no. Like terms, combine like terms. I do have like terms. So a positive 4 and a positive 1, n. So 3 drops down, 4 plus 1 is 5, n. Bring down the 2n plus 15. So both sides no longer have any like terms on the same side. So now I need to get the variables to the left. So subtract 2n. Subtract 2n. Leaves me with a 3 plus 3n equals 15. And now I have 2 more steps. I'm subtracting the constant 3, right? So the regular 3, subtract 3 on both sides. Got 3n equals 12. And divide by 3. And I get n equals 4. So once again, take a moment, write your score here, and fix any mistakes that you had. Hopefully you're doing that as you go. Fix any mistakes, but write your original score here. So if you only got 2 100% correct, mark it a 2, right? Fix your mistakes, make sure they're correct, but this should remain how many you got originally. Okay. Once again, go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and finish this last section, along with seeing if you can follow up with the exit problem here. Okay, and then we'll talk about the ranking before you turn in this handout. So pause the video, try those last 2 sections, and check your work. Okay, so no solution versus infinite solutions. You should have these in your notes. So if you looked in your notes, it should have been fairly easy to jot down how do you know, right? So no solution, remember, for both of these, the key is that the variables have canceled out, right? So the variables are no longer there. For no solution, you're left with a false statement. For infinite solutions, you're left with a true statement. So for example, right, a false statement you might be left with something like 0 equals 1, or 2 equals negative 3, or 2x plus 1 equals 2x minus 3, right? So if you were to finish solving this, the variables, when you subtract those, they are going to cancel, and you're going to be left with a false statement. For infinite, right? True. So some examples for true: 1 equals 1, 0 equals 0, things like that. 2x plus 7 equals 2x plus 7. It's the exact same thing on both sides, right? 2x plus 7 is equal to 2x plus 7 every time. The variables, again, 2x and 2x, are going to cancel out when you move them to the same side, and you're left with a true statement, 7 equals 7. Okay. On the exit problem, if you haven't tried it yet, again, pause the video, try it, see if you can find the mistake, and then solve it correctly. Right. So if you have tried it, here we go. The mistake, right, is the very first step right here. And we've talked about this before. You should not be adding 4 here because this 4 is already positive. This 4 needs to be subtracted. So starting at that first step, you need to subtract 4 from both sides. Bring down the negative 2x, and then divide by negative 2. You got x equals positive 3. Okay, so for the last part of this paper, before you turn it into the guest teacher, you need to fill out this section. And this corresponds to each of those sections that we just did together. Each section here. So your ranking is this. 1 is I don't get this. Number 2 is I kind of get it but still need help. 3 is I mostly get it. And 4 is I could teach the class. If you got all these 100% right on your own, I would say most of you should be at a 4 or 3. If you missed, 1 in each section, I would say you mostly get it, things like that. So for each section, the 1-step equations, think about how you did. For the 2-step equations, how did you do? And this is just your personal rating, not necessarily exactly what your score is, because some of these only had 3 questions in them, right? So this is just how do you feel like you're understanding this at this point in time, okay? Once you get this done and you have your understanding ranked here, do make sure that your name is on your paper along with the period, please. And then go ahead and turn this into the guest teacher. If it is about time to go, then you need to make sure you're getting this turned in wherever you're at. Okay. So at this point, go ahead and finish up what you need to and continue with the next part of the agenda on the announcement from Canvas.